So my name is Steph Gildaly. I live in Peakhurst now. My wife and I bought a house a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. Um, yeah, so I live in the area, but grew up in the Shire. So like as a child, I'm one of five kids, last, the baby, if you will. I've always been pretty independent. I was also a rock kid, so like I was climbing trees and riding bikes and rollerblades and falling over and just generally being a bit of a little dirtbag. Always very polite, but I was always getting into messy boy things. I was always a massive tomboy. I've got a sister who's a year older than me, and she's all sugar and spice and all the nice things, and there's this me in my camo pants and my flannel being like, wow. I had a brief period when I was about 13 that in high school brought home a boyfriend. We were together for like 12 years, and I think my parents were probably more surprised I brought home a boyfriend rather than a girlfriend. To be honest, I didn't think very much of it. Interested in people, less about what gender people are. But anyway, so we fast forward many years and started playing roller derby in my early 20s. Underground sort of sport. There's no Netball Association of Australia version like that, so it's all self-funded by the skaters. They used to do massive games at the Hordern Pavilion for it. My oldest brother sent me a flyer for it one day and I was like, that's sick. I'm gonna go watch it. Basically went to a game and I was like, gonna go play it. I went to they used to call them fresh meat nights, and I didn't own a pair of skates at that point. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the tryouts in a week. So I ended up going down to Wollongong. So I got my first library job down there, and they had a roller derby league there. So I joined up to their fresh meet, which, because they're a smaller league, you just signed up. 3 years down there, learn how to skate, learn how to play the game. Once you're kind of in it, it kind of takes over your entire life. Derby's kind of all consuming. You train a lot more. 3 days a week you're training, and so many hours a week with these people that it's kind of like a second job, if you will, because you get so involved and you're working to make the league better, you're working to put on your own events, you're working to get your own merch sorted to sell. It's a whole experience rather than just a sport. And then these people become your friends, and then they become your community. The derby, there's derby teams all over the world, and I'll take my skates and I'll go and drop in. And then you've got the competitive side as well. So you've got recreational, where you just play locally. And then if you want to compete, there's tournaments overseas and stuff like that. So I wanted to get better at it. So I moved up to SRDL and tried to work my way up to the A team. So when I went in, I joined the B team, the snipers. Used to jam. So 4 people are called blockers. Their job is to block the jammers from coming through, and the jammers trying to get past all the blockers to get their points and come back around and do it all again in 2-minute stints. I jammed a lot, but when I got moved up to the A team, I started blocking, which is infinitely more fun. But that's when I met Jackie. Her name was Juicy Vengeance then. She was the captain of the Assassins. She really thought I was annoying. I was too enthusiastic and I offered to help too much, which bugged her. So we ended up becoming really good friends. I broke up with my boyfriend and then we started dating. She is now my wife. She probably still finds me annoying, but now she's stuck with me. We had a great time. We did some tournaments overseas as well. We did 2 tournaments, the Big O ECDX over in America. So that was cool. And our team also came second at the Great Southern Slam, which is a Australia, New Zealand. So we came second to Victoria, and Victoria's generally ranked between 1 and 3 in the entire world. So yes, but not long after that we stopped derby, but for a whole host of reasons. But now I still roller skate, so I've switched to park skating. So throwing myself at concrete a couple of times a week, and that comes with its own community as well, and kind of takes over your life and you get a bit obsessive about it, but it's very fun. So Jack has 3 boys. Obviously when we started dating, I'd been around for a bit as a friend anyway, and then we were just having dinner one day and we're like, so guys, do you have any problem if Steph was my girlfriend? And they're like, no, pass the sauce. Wasn't a huge thing for the boys. And then, now we're like 6 years later, I'm a parent. Look, they're good. They're all in high school now. So we've got one's 12, one's almost 14, and one's almost 15. So we're right in there. It's funny though, because dead set from when I was a child, never wanted children. No children, no marriage. It wasn't something that I was interested in. But I mean, you meet the right person, and if she comes along with 3 children, then, it was a whole package, and it was something that I didn't ever want to half-ass it. So, whilst I stir the boys up quite a bit, they're my kids as well. Like, I don't introduce them as, these are my stepchildren. It's always like, these are my guys. But yeah, look, we live a pretty, just like a regular life, I guess. And unless you have a lot of contact with the gay community, I think everyone sort of might think that we're just a huge bunch of party animals, and, we're either not tied down in monogamous relationships, living the good life. But like, we always joke that we're kind of boring gays. We settled down pretty quickly, and we live in the suburbs. We don't live in the inner west or the city, and we've got the kids, we've got our 3 dogs, and we just collecting Lego and comic books and painting our house ridiculous colours. So I live by winging things, but I don't know, I guess there's not one of my other brothers is also gay. They were chill about him coming out. They were not surprised by me. Like, I'll tell you a funny story about how I came out. It wasn't really coming out. But anyway, we were in my room, my nan come in, and she wanted help with something or other. And I was like, oh, well, we're on our way down to that roller derby tournament in Adelaide. And I'm like, well, we may as well tell my parents now, because, if they have a drama about it, they can have the week I'm gone to think about it. Nan came in, because my nan lives with us as well. And I was like, oh, Jack. And she's my girlfriend. And my nan just looked me like dead in the face. And, she's late 80s by this point. And she just looked at me. She's like, well, I didn't think it was your boyfriend. And that was it. And then she went on to ask me whatever she wanted help with. And then that was that whole conversation. I had a good laugh about it. And then we were leaving, so we went downstairs. My mum was in the kitchen doing washing up or something, and I was like, oh, Mum. She's like, what? Turns around, and I was just standing next to Jack, and I kind of pointed my fingers back and forth between me and Jack, and she was like, and I'm like, my girlfriend. She was like, okay, cool. Just went back to doing what she was doing. Who else was home? My brother was home, James. So he's the one who's also gay. I just went up to him, whispered in his ear. I'm like, James. He's like, what? I'm like, you're not the only gay in the village. And he was like, I'm so happy. Gave a good chuckle. Yeah, then we're leaving. My dad was outside doing something with the car. And I was like, hey, Dad. It's like, oh, I just want to let you know, Jack's my girlfriend. And he got up and he's like, do I have to do anything? I'm like, no, I'm just thought I'd tell you. You might not want to know, but I told you. He's like, okay. Do I need to do anything though? Do you need some money? What do you need? Do I need to do anything? I'm like, no, Dad, you're fine. Go back to fixing your car. He's like, okay. Where are you going? I'm like, out. All right, bye. And then that was the grand total of, I think everyone else just found out by osmosis, or I probably sent them a text message being like, got a girlfriend. It was very nonchalant. And yeah, ever since then, they were fine. They were fine with the kids. Probably the biggest scandal was, oh, Steph has kids now. Steph's told us for years she doesn't want, never wanted kids, but now she's got kids. So there was a lot of hilarity ensued when they're poking fun at me. Look, a testament to my parents. As long as we're happy, my parents are fine. And I think it's probably something that a lot of parents, if they are thinking that their kids might be, somewhere in the LGBTQIA community, that it's okay. You don't have to know anything about it, but you just need to realize if your kid's happy, that's really the only thing that matters. And, who cares who they fall in love with, who they sleep with? As long as they're good people they're interacting with, what's the drama? Yeah.